Advantage Athletic Therapy, personalized rehabilitation programs with a whole body approach. Enjoy the podcast.
Dave Scott, Hub Media, today with the CMHA show. Boy, I'm struggling already. I want you guys to meet Lisa. She's a facilitator, mental health promotion and education, CMHA, Brant, Haldeman, Norfolk. And today we're going to talk about
Talk Today.
I'm going to give you the floor. Educate me.
Okay. So the Canadian Mental Health Association has a partnership with the OHL and the CHL, and we provide a mental health support for the players of the different programs. So where I'm at, we are in Brantford, Haldeman and Norfolk, and we support the Brantford Bulldogs, which is an OHL team. So we provide a vital partnership with the OHL in supporting individuals who are so that they can have an understanding about mental health, have that ability to reach out to the services and the supports that are there if somebody is struggling with their mental health. Originally, the program was started off with the NHL and the recognition of past suicides within the NHL community. The players, unfortunately, dying by suicide, which has led to the recognition that there needs to be those supports there for high performance athletes. So with this partnership, we go in, I speak with the team. I meet with them at least once a year to provide a Talk Today training, which is similar to Safe Talk. To talk about mental health, to talk about warning signs about suicide, to talk about how to be able to connect somebody to get those supports that they're looking for if they're feeling low, just to ensure that there's somebody there, they're not alone. And sometimes just having that ability to have a voice to talk to somebody and feel safe to do so. Because there's a lot of pressure. They're also young athletes. They're like 17, 18 years old up to the age of 21 or 22. So, and then whatever that looks like, if they're going to be going into the NHL, like we have athletes who have gone and have been drafted for the NHL. We just had the Canadian juniors. We've had players go and they attended the juniors. So these are all stressful, high performance athletic needs for the hockey players. And this is a service to help them feel safe if they need to reach out, because there's other external pieces. It's not always just the circumstances of the performance of the game and what they do. There's also home, being away from home. You have young athletes who are possibly there was one actually from Czechoslovakia. There's and Croatia, and there was a player who was from Buffalo, nowhere near their home, Ottawa. Like, not all of the Brantford Bulldogs are local athletes. We had some. There's one from Simcoe, actually, a couple from Delhi and Norfolk County, but not all of them are that close to home. So having the ability to have a resource so that if they're feeling low, if they're feeling homesick, if they need to talk to somebody, this is a way of creating that safe understanding without a judgmental piece, and also lifting any stigma that might be associated with it. We are in our 11th year of the Talk Today program. We are involved heavily across all of Canada. I attend different trainings and touch points with the rest of the CMHA branches across Canada that have OHL and CHL teams that are providing the same services. And what I provide here would be very similar to what somebody would provide in another province or another city. So we might have players who would be transferred from, say, London or from Kitchener into the Brantford Bulldogs. I think they just had one transferred from Ottawa. So if they have them being transferred into these different areas, what we offer here is going to be similar, so they know that there's continuity and consistency as well.
It's amazing too, because these athletes are put into a world that's different from the everyday folks. So the complexity of what they go through, like you said, can be detrimental to their health, both physically and mentally. So they do need that outlet. And that's amazing. Like, I think too, when you go in to talk to these athletes, what's the response? How are they with you? Are they I mean, it's a different world, right?
It's a different world, and I come from a perspective of I don't play hockey, I've never really played hockey, so I also not only do I come into the perspective of me trying to educate and teach them, but they can also teach me. I have that knowledge, that piece, and that mental health piece. They can tell and share with me all those sports stuff, right? Those are all different things, and having an understanding about an offense versus a defensive team and all that sort of stuff. I'm slowly learning. It's been 3 years, but I'm getting a better grasp and understanding of what the actual it's not just a team, they're family to each other too,
Yes.
right? And how they actually interact with each other and how they build off of each other on the ice is just as important off ice.
The bond
Mhm.
is growing up playing sports, I mean, you are in a culture that is family to you. When once you're accepted in, and that's probably another thing that they have to deal with, you are part of that, you know what I mean? And you wanna do what's best to help your team be better
Yep.
in every aspect, and the great part about that is mental health is part of that, to be a strong team, you've gotta be strong that way as well and have each other's back, which is a big thing in hockey. I like that there's an opportunity if someone's having different struggles to reach out. I think that's so critical at that age too. I mean, these, like you said, they're 17 years old, some of these guys, 17, 18 years old. It might be their first time away from home. It might be they don't know.
And you'll also find too is you have 18-year-olds, so they're new into the sport, not the sport, but new to
But
the league and
the
everything like
culture.
that. And they're mentored now by others who have gone through the ranks. So there's also that, for lack of a better term, big brother's mentorship piece there too. So they're going to
Yep.
help guide them as they go through and progress in their careers, in their hockey careers as well.
It's great because it's all around, it's creating a better situation for all athletes in that sport. Are you guys doing other sports? Is that sort of where it hopes to go down the road?
So we have, with it being 10 years now, just recently actually, we're still in hockey, but we are now going to be working with the women's hockey.
Excellent.
And dealing with some of those pieces. But I also know that there has been football involved. It's not limited to sports. It's just having those organizations reach out to CMHA Ontario, if it's within Ontario, to say, "Hey, we have these organizations, we have these teams. What can you do to help us?" And we actually, when I say we, I mean CMHA Ontario, and our Talk Today lead who would deal with that, they would have that discussion, figure out and want to know what it is that they're looking for. And honestly, truly, that's one of the things that progressed a little bit with how we've been able to connect with the women's hockey. So we're going to be working with the Ice Cats here in Brantford.
Okay.
So we're starting at 15 and we're going to be working our way up to the different levels and those different pieces. And how they're gonna do this, I'm sure they do tailor it more so because what I'm teaching in the Talk Today program to the Brantford Bulldogs will look differently to the Ice Cats because you're also dealing with it's not NHL and men, you're dealing with females. So dealing with some of those additional, pieces. So they do tailor it more so depending on the sport and the actual gender as well and looking at how best we can create the best supports possible. It's not a one shoe fits
Yeah.
all. It is what can we do to make sure that it fits the needs of each of the sports and each of the demographics that we're dealing with.
I love that because women's sports is growing at a rapid rate. And I think it's important that you guys are right there at the ground to help athletes of any sport really
Mhm.
to get off to the best start they can or to have success. I do think, and you and I talked yesterday a little bit about this, was the importance of sports within our society and how it does create a great bond for kids and athletes as they grow up.
Mhm.
And obviously what excuse me, that you're dealing with at the OHL level is an elite athlete. But all that I can see down the road it all working towards that because it's such boy, that it's so promising to hear that. And I gotta say thanks for doing that because I think, to the CMHA, because this is something being a guy that loves sports, this is something that you see over and over again. Coaching over the years, you see the child that maybe needs that boost that doesn't have the confidence or, comes from a background that maybe doesn't support those athletic endeavors. But that's so important to that one child to have that moment with these other kids and develop that social skill and also to learn a skill.
It's
So
building
yeah,
a
anywhere you
community.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So anywhere you guys can get involved, I welcome it because I think it's important. That's good because I can see minor hockey's down the road. This is something that is a tool that you guys can use through all levels. Talk a little bit about the success of this program. You've been doing it 3 years. It must be
So
good
3
to
years, I've
offer
been
that.
going in to see the Brantford Bulldogs.
Yep. You've been seeing the Bulldogs for 3 years, and that opportunity, does it, have you seen success in your program?
So to say that I've seen success, I haven't had them having to need to reach out frequently and consistently and all that sort of stuff. So, but if they do, that's fine. I've seen it and I've heard for it's just sharing those stories and those relevant pieces. When I do go in to do the training and everything, talking about mental health and everything with the athletes, I get also a little bit of a preempt of what some of them might be struggling with, what some of them might be dealing with. Overall, I like having the athletes, having the Bulldogs come in and talk with me, and I'm not overly tall, so I feel like the shortest person in the world when I'm standing there with 6 foot something athletes, but they're able to joke with you. They know that they're able to engage, and I'm not coming from the perspective of being anybody other than I'm here to provide you guys with some info. Some of them have been through the talk several times, not just by me, but if they've been um
Organization.
at another organization, London, Kitchener, any of those pieces, they might have heard this a million times, but they still are willing to listen and they're still willing to engage. They might be a little bit more joking about it. And I don't mean about the seriousness of the situation, but just feeling more relaxed to have that environment. Somebody who's never sat through it, they might actually be more nervous, more hesitant, but they could see from their fellow players and teammates that, hey, it's okay to have this. It's a relaxed environment. So to say the success piece, there's no way of gauging it.
And
As far as
yeah,
I'm
I should have reworded that, yeah. I think, I think I was looking more for, you could see in the crowd, like you said, you can understand, you see the eye movement, you see the size, that you're providing a service that they welcome. I guess
yes.
that's what I was looking for. You know that they're going, "Oh, thank goodness somebody's there if I do have a situation."
And I think one of the other things, and I love the fact that they have this program set up this way, is with the Talk Today program, one of the agreements or one of the pieces that all of the OHL teams have and CHL teams have across Canada, but specifically when I go to attend the Talk Today training, that also gives me a game day. I have a specific day with the Brantford Bulldogs that's dedicated in recognition of the Talk Today program. When I say they, I mean the Bulldogs then take the opportunity to talk about the mental health perspective even more so. So they highlight their athletes, they talk about those pieces, and they share that with the crowd. So I'm going to be attending Wednesday, February 25th is our game day. I'll be at the TD Center, which is now what it's called, promoting the Talk Today program with the Brantford Bulldogs and talking about the program specifically while they're also highlighting and talking about their own ability to break that stigma, to break those confines that people feel and the concerns of judgment, and talking about what they might do to help with their mental health or what they might do to help somebody else with their mental health.
Lisa, I gotta say, you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time. I'm eating up all your time here. I know you gotta get back to work, but thank you for explaining the Talk Today program. And what was the date? What day are you gonna be there at the rink?
Wednesday, February 25th.
So there they go. They can come and meet you and get your autograph. Um, Thanks for doing this. Take care. I wanna talk again sometime. So,
Absolutely,
let's
anytime.
all right. See
Thank
you
you.
later.